Hello, and welcome back to Accessibility Unlocked. In today's episode, we're going to explore the essentials of keyboard navigation and focus order. So, these sound a bit technical, but are crucial components for making sure your websites are accessible, specifically for those who prefer not to or can't use a mouse and rely solely on a keyboard to interact with the web. For many users with certain visual impairments, neurological conditions, and mobility impairments that limit the use of their hands, such as paralysis or repetitive stress injuries like carpal tunnel syndrome, using a mouse isn't just difficult, it's often impossible. Therefore, keyboard navigation is often their primary way of interacting with any digital content. Imagine trying to complete everyday tasks like filling out a form, shopping online, or even just reading an article, but finding that certain buttons are unclickable and some links are broken so you can't reach parts of the website. For users who depend on a keyboard, this is often their reality. That's why it's absolutely crucial that all interactive content on the web page can be accessed via keyboard alone and in a way that feels intuitive and makes sense. So, what is focus? Now, in the context of navigating a website using the keyboard, simply put, focus refers to the current interactive element on a website that is ready to receive input from the user. For example, you'll notice that when I click on the field, there's this black outline that appears around it to indicate it's currently in focus. And I can now use my keyboard to start typing and interacting with the field. Users typically use the Tab and Shift Tab keys to move forward and backwards between elements on the page. I can press the Enter or Space keys to interact or trigger UI components such as this combo box, and use the arrow keys to cycle through the options. The element in focus is visually highlighted, and this is called the focus indicator. In this case, we see a black outline appear, but this can vary depending on the browser or device, and can even be custom styled by the developer in the CSS of the page using the focus and active pseudo classes to make sure the focus indicator stands out. What is focus order? The order or sequence in which these elements are focused on the page is called the focus order or tab order. Imagine trying to navigate a website and suddenly being transported to a different section without warning. For an intuitive experience, it's important that the tab order makes sense to keyboard users. As mentioned before, by using the Tab and Shift Tab keys, I can move forward and backwards through interactive elements. A logical focus order ensures users can move through the page in the way that is expected and makes sense to them, usually following the visual flow of the page from left to right, top to bottom. Back on the contact form, you'll notice the keyboard focus skips the input fields and jumps directly to the Submit button. Then, when I press Tab again, focus moves back to the input fields. Let's see what's going on here. The tab order is directly interpreted from the order in which elements have been structured in the HTML DOM. You'll notice that in this example, within the DOM markup, the Submit button is actually positioned first in the form, but has been styled to visually appear at the bottom using CSS. This issue is more common on complex websites where CSS is used to achieve specific layouts without fully considering the underlying DOM structure. Here what we need to do is align the DOM order with a visual presentation. To achieve this, we simply need to move the Submit button to the bottom of the form within the DOM. Now, when I press the Tab key, the focus moves more logically through all the input fields, and then to the Submit button. This experience makes much more sense and presents the elements to keyboard users with the intended meaning. A visible focus indicator and intuitive focus order are crucial for keyboard users to navigate a site effectively. For blind or partially sighted keyboard users, an illogical focus order can cause screen readers to announce elements in a confusing sequence, making it harder for users with visual impairments to understand the content. When focus jumps unpredictably across the page, it can cause users to miss important information or struggle to complete tasks, ultimately making the website inaccessible and difficult to use. All right, let's wrap up with our key takeaways for accessible keyboard navigation. Firstly, make sure all interactive elements are accessible via keyboard, and remember that for a smooth and intuitive experience, elements on the page should follow a logical focus order. Thank you for joining us today on Accessibility Unlocked. We hope you now have a better understanding of focus order and keyboard navigation. Stay tuned for more tips in our next episode.